Today, we're going to talk about how to use video email to grow your public adjusting business. There are a lot of great opportunities for public adjusting companies to nurture clients and to prospect using this. So, I'm not talking about using video emails to send status updates to clients or to ask insurance carriers to send, certified declaration pages. None of that makes any sense. Those are all transactional type emails when you're requesting information, receiving information. What I'm talking about is the human element to this. How do we grow relationships, especially in this day of COVID? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I have stats for you too, just in case you think, numbers don't lie kind of thing. So what we're going to talk about today is we are going to talk about when and why to send video emails, because it's not always appropriate, like I kind of alluded to before. You're not going to send, a carrier an email saying they're never going to watch your video. I mean, their computer systems will block that anyway, but they're not. I'm talking about to prospects, to clients, people that you want to develop what a friend of mine calls an H2H relationship. So much like business to business, but it's really human to human, right? Next, we're going to talk about how to build your video prospecting pipeline, what to send, what to record, those sorts of things. And then on the flip side, we're also going to talk about how to reach out to your existing or past clients to gain referrals. What I want to talk about here is when and why to send video emails. It's not always appropriate to send this. So knowing when you should use these types of emails kind of helps you weed out everything else. If you're on a diet and you're like, these are the 6 foods that are healthy to eat, everything else isn't, sort of thing. So you can kind of, extrapolate your own what if scenarios from here to see if using this in prospecting to warm up cold leads or to reinvigorate existing clients or to get referrals out of existing clients. You definitely can. I've seen 1 or 2 public adjusting companies kind of fully embrace this idea of video email so that even when their office staff goes to communicate with clients, they send a video email, some statistics or some, data that they may need or attached files are in the email as well. But the pleasantries, the eye-to-eye communication, the body language, the inflection in your voice, things like that, all come across much easier in video. So they choose to do that. Click the button, Lynn. So this should absolutely come to no surprise. We've talked about email in more than a couple webinars we've done, and I actually went through those. And the statistics are always a little bit different. It just depends where the stats come from. But the bottom line is we all get a lot of email and we don't want to read it, right? So here in the book, Rehumanize, because I have the book, I am a ferocious reader. I pick and choose what I actually get in a hardcover. When we moved from New Jersey to Texas, I'm not even going to lie, we probably had 47 boxes of books and we'd given away 2/3 of it before then. The local library, even on the county level, shut us down from donating books. It was pretty bad. So now I'm a huge Audible fan and I'm a huge Kindle fan because it's digital. It doesn't take up a lot of space. But this one I love so much I bought in person. So the statistics that I have in this webinar are coming from this book. So in here, they say that the American workers, because they talk about Canada and some other places, first world nations sort of thing, are all kind of fall in line, is that we spend about 1/3 of our work week in your inbox, which I think is ridiculous. We've taken steps, or at least I have, and my side of the house has taken steps at ClaimWizard where my inbox time is probably maybe 20 minutes a day, if that. And I live at my desk. I'm not like you guys. I'm not road warriors. Like, my job is at the computer and is talking to someone. If I can get it down that low, if I can get it, if you can get it lower for you guys, it's a lot better. But not only that, think about when you're sending email to people. People on average have about 120 emails. They say half of those are spam. My inbox was about 400 or 500 a day after spam. I've gotten that down greatly. By the grace of God, I have no idea, but it's freed up a lot of time because you're not processing emails, deciding what you should do with it. Is it spam, trying to report it? all that's done. But think about all of those things that go on in your head. And here you are, you're trying to send out one really important message or one really important, introduction of yourself to a prospect, or even trying to, get a client to become more engaged with you when they're already clients. That email is going to be really hard to get seen in the noise. So, this book, Rehumanize, kind of talks about email as the indispensable broken tool, because after a while, everything just becomes black text on a white background, and it's just background noise. So how do you stand out? Now, there still is a time and place for that. Absolutely. To any of those people out there that say email is dead, I hear it every year. And it's also the year of mobile, which I've been hearing every year for like 20 years. So take it what you will. We're going to talk about how to stand out in the inbox, right? So if people get blind to email, like, what are our alternatives to talk to someone, to reach out and communicate in a prospecting way? Now, pre-COVID, when you can just go knock on doors or meet people, a neighbor comes over because they want to see what's going on in the house you're working on, and your client shows them around, and whatever the things are, all of those normal ways for you to connect with people have been taken away. What do? You call someone, on the phone. Well, that's disruptive because you never know if it's a good time for them or not, right? So, I real world non-business example that I had today is my son's birthday was a couple days ago, and I said, "All right, call your mom and call your grandma and your grandpa and wish them and thank them for the cards," that kind of thing. Calls grandma, not around. Texts grandma, not around. The other one, he tries to FaceTime. She didn't recognize the phone number. She didn't answer it. Like, people don't, like, you're interrupting them. You remember days of old people, telemarketers, they always call at dinner time because they know you're home. You're sitting around, you get up, dinner, well, that kind of thing. That's all done. You're intruding on people's time for that. You never know if it's a good time on the opposite. It's a good time for you, but that doesn't mean it's a good time for them. Even my inbox right now, the majority of my inbox is back and forth trying to set up a specific time to make a phone call. Like, we used to just pick up the phone call, but it's different now. Video call, forget about it. That stuff you got to schedule way in advance. And in a business context, it's actually probably frowned upon in the beginning stages of a relationship. Later on, yeah, maybe you FaceTime with someone and they're walking you around the house, they found new damage, whatever. But when you're in that prospect mode, it's probably much more. I'm going to tell you right now, it'd be super creepy if I got a FaceTime call from someone I didn't know and there was some guy on the other end of it. Like, first of all, I wouldn't answer it. Second of all, super creepy. Anyway, just don't go there. So now that's synchronous communication, right? There's two ways happening at the same time, right? You're expecting them to be there, so you both have to kind of be at the same point in time. Now, on the other side of things, you have voicemail, right? Call. I remember doing this years ago, like one of my first jobs out of school, and I would have to call people to get their timesheets or something like that. And I would purposely not want to talk to them. So I would call them when I knew that they wouldn't answer the phone, because it would be a whole plethora of reasons. Maybe they'd stick me on the phone for, 20 minutes and I have 10 more people to call, or I would get an earful about something else and they wanted to change. I'm like, listen, I just need your timesheet for the week, like, kind of thing. Like, I would purposely look for voicemail. How many times have you actually listened to, well, maybe you guys do because it's part of your job, but I mean, most people, residential, kind of like in a non-business context, they don't listen to voicemail on their phones. I think Verizon had a report on that like the overwhelming majority of voicemails left on a cell phone don't get listened to. They just call back the number or text the number that they got the thing from. So you don't even waste your time on voicemail in some capacities because people aren't even listening to it. What are you going to do? Send them a text message? That would be really good. But then again, if they have a lot of text messages, you start floating to the bottom. They don't remember to get back to you. And then fax. I put this in because I thought it was funny, but these are all asynchronous ways. Like, you send a text message and when they get back to you is dependent on them, much like email, right? Just a text email. Well, how do you combine these two things of this really good, like, voice and face-to-face and this human connection that you could make, which is what you need to make a sale. You need to make human connection. versus asynchronous of when it's convenient for that other person to talk to you or to have that communication with you. So that's where we get into possibly video email, right? So I feel, and it's kind of nice when I read something and I'm like, oh, professional author, kind of, I agree with them, or we'll have, similar points of view, or I have certain things that I don't know how to articulate and it's in here. But the reason why I started using video email was because I want to build trust with people. I have personally, my personality is much more, if I can talk to you and we can have a conversation, we're going to get to the same point that we need to meet at much quicker than if it's text and back and forth, and my shining personality and humor don't show through and blah, 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 right? But you want to build trust. That is why people, look me in the eye, shake my hand kind of thing. Well, COVID, that's not really flying so much anymore. The next idea of when you would want to send a video email is when you want to quickly build rapport with someone. So a lot of times, a great example of this is if you have like a favorite actor or a movie star, that sort of thing, and you've seen a lot of their stuff and you watch them on social media, like if you were to ever meet them, like you feel like you kind of know them a little bit. And that is some of the idea behind video emails as well. I have people that have watched a lot of these webinars that call me up and they just start talking about stuff that I've said or done. And it's like, especially back in my days of being a podcaster, which, totally different non-work topic, but I was like, what, that's kind of weird. Like, how do you know what my favorite restaurant is? Because you mentioned it on episode 13 or something. It gets weird, but you want that relationship with people when you are trying to build business with them. And then the third reason, and I think this is especially smart for now, is if you would to prefer to have this conversation with someone, this communication with them face to face, right? Those are three really good ideas of when you might want to send a video email. So if we're going to talk about using video email on the idea of prospecting, when would be a good idea to use? And give me some ideas, Lynette, about when can I use not just email, not just fire off a generic email. Have you ever gotten an email where it says, hello, colon, first name, colon, comma, like, like the thing didn't work and then your name's not in there when it's like, hello, very obviously scripted, not very personal, right? So the whole idea behind video prospecting is not to make one video and blast it out to 100 people. It's to make 100 short videos to 100 people. That may not sound good, but when I show you the tools, it's literally as easy as clicking the video record button on your phone saying, hey, Pete, how are you? I sent you an email last week with the information about our, contract and stuff. Did you have any questions? I would love to, chat with you. Click goodbye. The rest of the email set up, you hit send, you go on to the next one. Very, very easy. It almost feels like leaving an actual voicemail. You just have to be cognizant of your facial expressions, I suppose. No screaming kids in the background. But prospecting through video email is amazing. Now, if you want to know if using video email for prospecting is, what I brought up before, ask yourself one question. Would I be more effective if I looked this person in the eye and talked with them? If the answer is yes, then send a video email. If it's no, because you're sending a contract to get signed or a proof of loss to verify, or no, transactional business email, that doesn't need videos. I'll be honest, it doesn't. But if you're trying to build a relationship or move it to another level, video works very well. I'm too old for video dating, or actually they used to do video dating with like VHS tapes and stuff, but the whole online dating, I think they use that a lot. And that's exactly why you can get to, you get that feeling or that illusion of knowing someone much quicker when you see and hear them on video. So here's the kicker, right here is email sending, like sending out emails from companies, not necessarily people, social media on a personal level. Social media has increased drastically with COVID, right? Business-wise, email, marketing, emails. Oh my gosh, there are so many of them now. Can I tell you, like, I'm trying to get really good at like calling out and like taking myself off of lists that I don't need. I counted yesterday, I got 5 emails from Target. I can't even tell you the last time I was at Target or ordered anything. I got 2 or 3 from Costco this morning today alone. Everybody is sending me more emails to buy or do or call or whatever, because there's a less, I'm not going into stores, I'm not going into restaurants, we're not, having those human interactions where I'm going to see billboards and other things. The only way people can get to us now is through our inbox or social. And if the political emails and ads are say anything, like I think they all instantly shut off. Today is the day after election day, but take that for example. Like you can't go out and political people couldn't like advertise or do whatever they do the way that they normally do. So what do? They email the hell out of you, and now we're even more blind to it. But that doesn't help us as humans going forward, trying to do business, trying to do legitimate business that has legitimate results for people. But on the other side of that coin is the human interaction has decreased because everything has become technical and automated and batch sending big emails kind of thing. People are craving human interaction, even if it is asynchronous, like one at a time, one waiting on the other. Even if, it is a little prescribed in the fact that I know you're sending out 10 emails today, but you mentioned me by name on the video and we had, mentioned something that we were actually talking about. So I know you're not just sending this video to every single person that has the first name of Lynette, which there's not many, or Dave or Jennifer or Michael, that kind of thing. It's like, I know you're doing it to me. People crave human interaction right now. They want to be seen. They want to be understood. They want to be recognized now more than ever. That's why I personally think video email is really, really launching right now. So I'm going to give you some ideas about when specifically to use video email versus a typed out black and white text email, right? So here we're going to say cold prospecting. So if you get an email from someone, like even if it's a client, and this is here's my brother-in-law, go reach out to him, whatever. Cold prospecting is really hard. I would have to guess that a cold prospect email is deleted like statistically 100 times out of 100, right? Like I get so many emails every single day that don't come from email lists. They're actually like taking the time to write out to me. They're like, we would like to sell you a list of every carrier in the United States so that you can work for them. And I'm like, first of all, you have no idea what I actually do. Second of all, it was not customized at all. Delete, right? Gone. So cold prospecting, you have to really extend your digital hand to shake hands, to make eye contact. Video is incredible for that. I don't cold prospect, but maybe you do. So next is nurturing responsive or unresponsive leads. So if you're having a conversation with someone and you're having that rapport back and forth, even from when it was on the phone, continuing it out on video so they can see you and hear you. And this continuity of your voice from talking on the phone is now on the video and things like that. It really does go a long way. Unresponsive leads, very good, because now they're seeing that you see them for being unresponsive, that sort of thing. I know I have emails in my inbox, like literally weeks and weeks and weeks. I haven't gotten back to people, not clients, because y'all come first, but other relationships that I want to build and nurture in this space. And I literally have not had time to get out to them. So, an email video apology, because I think that's in here too, is in here, just a way to kind of reach out and say, hey, I'm really thinking about you. This isn't just my system automating saying, hello, first name, I haven't talked to you in a week because some action item triggered on that. Another one is a great to meet you. So it's a follow-up. That's a warm lead. That's the kind of thing you want to, kind of go after. They have already maybe seen your face, heard your voice, or they haven't, and now you're putting a face to a name sort of thing. So that's a great reason to use email. Honestly, even if you decide not to use video email, these are great touch points as a sales professional to kind of go back and hit people a reason to email them instead of, hey, I saw the Braves won or whatever, right? Um, Claim updates are another one. This is outside of the book because this is definitely specific to your industry. But if as an adjuster, your office staff is sending out the paperwork and, here's the proof of loss or here's the demand letter we need you to look at, whatever. You can follow up a day later after they've gotten that information and you'll be like, hey, Chuck, I know my office sent you out X, Y, and Z paperwork yesterday. Do you have any questions on what you need to do or how you need to send it back? If you need help, I would love to sit on a call with you, to figure this out. I know it can be overwhelming. I'm here to hold your hand in whatever case you need. Thanks, goodbye, whatever, right? Like that's phenomenal as a video email, phenomenal. Or if your staff did that or anything like that, talk about a personal connection with someone that you actually took the time to make me a video. Because a lot of people think it's magic. It's not magic. You click a red button on your phone, it gets easy, I promise. So claim updates are really, really good for that. The next is, of course, holiday special occasions. Everybody loves, to be wished happy birthday, happy holidays, whatever, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Festivus, whatever there might be out there. So that's always a good way to do it. And honestly, you can do that a little bit more generically. You can make one video. Maybe it's your whole office, maybe it's whatever, maybe put up a funny green screen and do one video and mass send it out. So every single video email you do doesn't have to be customized one-to-one. It's just the I can never say this word, the familiarity of seeing someone's face over and over and hearing them and building a relationship with them. Because before you know it, they'll like run into you at a store someplace and they'll be like, hey, and who the heck? Because they're seeing you, but you're not necessarily seeing them. So be prepared for it. It will happen. Next is bad news, right? So a lot of times text lacks the voice, right? It lacks the emotion and the empathy of, I'm not saying bad news like I'm so sorry for your loss, your cat passed away, because maybe that's it, but maybe bad news, maybe, hey, we've been back and forth with the carrier 4 and 5 times and they're just not budging. Your policy is just not allowing for this. I'm really sorry to tell you this, but I really think that you need to accept whatever level. But by doing this, it's not so like, hey, these are your numbers, take it or leave it kind of thing. You definitely add a human element to it. And the tone of your voice and honestly, your body language will go a very far way to kind of getting clients to come to the conclusion that where you've brought them so far is as far as they're going to get. And maybe the rest of the reel is that, their expectations are a little crazy. The next one is checking in. So one of the things that we always encourage people with ClaimWizard is like, when there's no news to share, still still reach out to someone, hey, Beth, I just wanted to let you know that, we're still working on your claim. Everything is going as planned, but they see your face, they hear you, they know that you're literally taking time and it's not just a generic thing out. Nobody wants a generic form email, to be honest with you. Next is an invitation for whatever reason. Maybe I know I get invites and things from people just doing fundraisers within our industry, or when you want to invite me to come on a panel or something like that. But rather than, because I used to get speaking engagements and they would put the wrong name in there. It's like, oh, did you mean Chris Brogan? I'm not Chris. And when they come back, they're like, no, we meant you. And it's like, yeah, I'm the consolation prize. Like, no, thank you. But by reaching out to someone for an invite or something like that and having the video go along with it, it's a much more personal, heartfelt way to go about it. And then, of course, the last one is to say thank you. And that actually leads us partially into our referral. And there's other webinars that I'm going to refer that kind of go into the referral based when you should do it. But the video email, I think, escalates that a bit and makes it a little bit more robust. So when you talk about I was going to say marketing, really, it's advertising, right? So advertising and marketing go hand in hand, and there's nuances. We won't get into that per se, but I believe that if you are prospecting, if you are doing any type of email or video email to a person that is not currently your client, you must always include what's called a CTA, a call to action, in that email. You can't say, hey, we've got this great service and we can help you turn your claim around, quicker than on your own with less headaches. Thanks. Bye. Like what? No. How about an invitation to say, hey, if you're interested in learning more, give me a call. Click on this button to, download our top 10 things or whatever it is. You have to tell them to do something. That's really what a call to action is. Otherwise, you're just telling them about something and turning around and walking away while they've got money standing in their hand. That's pretty much how I envision that. Some of the things that I do want to say, because I see this disconnect, and I see the disconnect when you're writing emails with people, not you, not the royal we, when we're writing emails, versus when you have an in-person or a video conversation, right? So some words for a call to action, you might see download here, submit, enter. People, and I worked at an ESP, an email service provider, and we did a gazillion tests on if we named a button something different, or if we made the color different, if it's red versus green, or if it had rounded corners versus square corners. It sounds stupid, but when you're talking about billions of transactional emails, say how many emails Amazon sends you, or Target, or Costco, every little tweak about how somebody feels when they're reading something or interacting with something, a tenth of a percent of a change could be millions of dollars for these companies. So taking that idea and kind of extrapolating it down to us, you would never say, to someone, if you've got a contract in front of you, well, just submit this contract to me. And when you're done, just click download. Like, that doesn't make sense in real life. So when you're talking on a video email, those words aren't naturally going to come out because you don't talk like that. But people write that on email, which makes you feels a little robotic and standoffish. So what you want to do is you want to use, I'll put that in later, Lynette, you want to use words like get, find, try. Hey, if you're willing to give us a try, here's my number, give me a call. Hey, if you find that you're having a hard time dealing with the insurance companies yourself, here's my number. I would love to help you out, that kind of thing. So you're not going to say submit to my public adjusting company. You're going to say, hey, here's my stuff, give us a try. Just those natural, approachable words make a lot of sense. But here's the thing. When you use video email, you're naturally gravitating towards those words that make people feel safe to interact with you, those calls to action, versus those submit. I don't want to submit to anyone. Hello very much. I don't want to enter. I know this sounds really wacky, but we used to talk about this at the email company. We're just like, all right, who wants to be entered today? And we're like, what? No one wants to be entered. Someone wants to, give me a try, help me, that sort of thing. So I just always crack up when I think of those because no one wants to submit or enter. Just saying. So think about those, but naturally as part of our speech, we are going to be more welcoming than if we were to try to sit down and write an email. How do you gain referrals? So we've talked a little bit about prospecting, right? So if you've got warm leads, cold leads, referrals, like that's how you're going to start to approach them. Now, how do you get these? Every company of any kind will tell you a referral is their strongest source of business, whether or not it's their largest or if they actually get referrals from clients. But I just bought, for example, a $95 book that is empty for the most part that I will use to plan my 2021. I'm a planner geek, right? I love planners. I love books. I'm learning how to bind books, that kind of thing. I watched a video about a woman and she used a certain kind of planner book and she really liked it. And then she said why, and she didn't like some things and she said why, and it resonated with me. That was a referral. I clicked on the link. I bought the thing for $95. People use your services. They have friends and family that see what you do. they want to use your services, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm talking about. Referral is always the strongest because someone else is doing the selling for you, right? They are the cheapest way of getting a client, and they are the most faithful way of getting a client, meaning you have to do very little to convert them. So when we're talking about, okay, so where am I getting these referrals from, Lynette? Hello, they don't just fall from the sky. Well, yeah, they can. I'll be honest, they can. If you use ClaimWizard, I have here a couple of reports I want to show you. My data, of course, the disclaimer is it looks wonky and weird because I make it all up out of whatever pops out of my head for the day, like Captain Jack's Transport. Captain Jack Sparrow actually has a house someplace. He doesn't always live on a ship, so we put weird stuff in there. In ClaimWizard, there is a report called All Clients. So all of your clients, depending on what access you have in ClaimWizard, will show up. We also have a place in the client record or prospect record, because it's the same thing. It's just whether or not they have an active claim. There is two spots, right? So one, can you use them as a referral? Because some people just don't want to be used as a referral, and some people do. So you ask them, hey, can I use you as a referral if I get somebody that has, an industrial complex with a flat, iron roof or tin roof or whatever. Yeah. And then a referral rating. So we have a 1 through 5 rating. 5 would be yes, give them to everyone. No is like, or 1 would be like, yeah, they're a referral, but they don't want you to send a lot to them. Just send clients that are like them. And then we have referral notes, like, they're only good to contact in the evenings or nights and weekends, that sort of thing. But you could use them as a referral, right? So I would get this report, I would pull their emails, and I would send them one-to-one video emails. And I'm going to show you exactly what to send in a little bit. So here you're going to be like, hey, Mr. Whoever runs, Dave at Gallifrey Investments, like, hey, I know that you said you'd be a referral to us. Thank you so much. Or a reference, rather. I'm sorry, a reference and a referral. Do you happen to have anybody in mind? Or, hey, I have somebody that, we're looking to do business with you that had a similar loss as you. Would you mind if I had them reach out to you? Do it by video. It's so much more personable. It's going to catch their eye and not get, killed in the 120 other emails that they get during the day. So that is definitely a place that you can mine for existing referral sources. You can see I cut out a lot of the report. That's kind of why the dotted line's in the middle. I think it's like 20 lines across or 20 columns. But you can see most recent contact. You can see how many opened or settled claims they have. So you're going to be able to tell a lot about the quality of that referral just from looking at the report. The next one we have up is using your vendors, your external vendors, as referral sources, right? So reach out to these guys. You can I ran a report here. I have hardly any fake data in my system. External company roster, vendors only, right? These are all the vendors that I work with. Here's a plumber, there's 3 IAs, there's a couple of law firms. So maybe batch them all together and just grab the law firms and go, hey, I know business has been getting crazy. If you have any, people that you're working with that, aren't quite ready for a lawsuit, think of me and send them my way, whatever. Do it personal, send a video sort of thing. The next place that you can mine for referrals and, additional business is the very first webinar I ever did, and I'll put a link someplace for it, but it's definitely on our YouTube page, is I have this, we went over this idea of net promoter scores. That's also why we put the 1 to 5, even though net promoter score is 0 to 10. We put in this ranking so you'll know if people are good referral sources or that you can use them as references. But I had this idea in there and people use it and they still email me about it all the time. When people watch the video and they're like, yeah, I tried it. So I always get trickling reports about this working. In a nutshell, you write up a couple cards that have your company logo on the front, maybe 3 or 5, depending on what you wanted to do. If you wanted to throw some Starbucks cards in there, some Dunkin' Donuts, whatever. Hey, dear friend of Bob Jones, who would be your client, we're happy to help them recover their information. If you're getting this card, they feel that we can help you too. Here's my card with my personal cell phone number, etc. I know y'all probably give out your cell phone number to the barista everywhere, but put it on there, make them feel special, like you don't give your cell phone number out to everyone. And it's a way to grow business. Send them a video email. If someone gives you the email address, you can do this via email with a video introduction. It is a cold prospect, but you're also, and send the email to both. Send it to your client so they see the video and they know what you're sending their friend, and send it to the friend or whatever it is. So that's not a problem. That's some other ways to get some prospects for referrals. So one of the things, and I know you're not going to be able to actually see it here, is that the product that I use is called BombBomb. So you've probably maybe have gotten emails from me. I think who their market was originally, or maybe the strongest market that they have, is real estate agents. There are a lot of tricks, in my opinion, that real estate agents use. It's a very mature industry, right? That they use, and they spend a lot of money on advertising, a lot of money on marketing, that you can use, that's going to work, because they're all targeting property owners, much like you are, but you're targeting property owners for a completely different reason. But a lot of the base marketing materials still work. For example, if you want to prospect to someone cold, they give you emails to use. You could change the wording a little bit, because obviously, you're not having something up on Zillow or whatever, but they have probably 40, 50 templates that you can use, that the wording is already done for you. And all you have to do is maybe tweak a couple little things, pop in your personal video. And when you have a template set up on BombBomb, I'm also going to give you other suggestions of 2 other video platforms that are really, really good as well. That I haven't personally used them. I've just received emails like from somebody that uses them. I can open up the BombBomb app on my phone, say, oh, what do you want to send? I want to send this template for a cold prospect, whatever you decide to name it. And I hit record and I say, hey, Amanda, how are you? Your friend Todd gave me your number. He said that, you had a little bit of damage in your house right now. If there's anything I can do to help you, I'm here. Just hit respond to either text or send me a video back. I'd love to start a relationship and see if we can help you out. Stop, send, done. Faster than typing an email. I'm going to tell you, so much better. And you get statistics, and you get all these other crazy things with it, right? So then we have one. I just want to thank you for allowing me and my team to represent you in the purchase of your home. Strike that, for representing your claim to the insurance carrier. You can do all of these. These can be your welcome letters. You can put in all of the pieces that you want, links and file uploads and whatever you want in there as a template. You click that video. Hey, Amanda, thank you so much. We just received your signed contract back. Below this video is all the information that I told you about, everything you need to get started. Here's my information. If you need anything, hit respond to text or send me a video email. BombBomb lets you, the recipient, send a video email back to you. It's literally, you just click a button. They use their camera and web thing and whatever, and it goes. They don't need software or anything to do. It's really cool. But there's tons of opportunities for this. Take a lot of the emails that you already use, the boilerplate emails you may use, and think about using it in this format. But I think it really, really works well. And I'm going to show you how. So 3 of the platforms that I know of that are out here, BombBomb is definitely the industry, I won't say industry standard, but it's the biggest, it has the biggest, I guess, share, or whatever people use to say those things with BombBomb. I do know, and I work with a company that uses Vidyard, and it works very similar. I don't know if they have video templates and things like that, but I think Vidyard is free to start with, where Hippo Video and BombBomb, like, you just have to pay subscription. And then Hippo Video is the same type of thing. I've gotten videos from all 3, but BombBomb is the one that I chose because it had the best features for me. Take a look at all 3. When you get these slides, or down below in YouTube, you'll have the links for all of these. So you'll be able to kind of click around and see what they're all about. But those are the top 3 in the industry. They are mobile friendly. It is super easy to send emails, videos this way. It's very difficult to make a video on your phone, like on an iPhone or an Android, attach that video to an email and send it. All of these emails get hosted on their service. So when you send the email, you're not sending a 50 meg video. You're just sending a link to the video. And then when they click on it, the video pops up from the internet. So you don't have to worry about sending huge videos space wise. It works very well. So what we have up, I wanted to talk about was, if you were interested, I think they have an ebook of it, is Rehumanize Your Business, How Personal Video Accelerates Sales and Improves Customer Experience. I didn't talk about anything about a customer experience. I just wanted to talk about sales, because I wanted to help you all make money now. It's a really quick read. I know they do have a lot of resources online as well. They've got blogs and stuff, so you may not even actually need the book to get the gist of it. This webinar was a little bit of it wasn't really a book review, but that's kind of how it goes down. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you, I pulled these numbers today. I wanted to show you most of the email that I send from BombBomb is one-to-one, or I'll send it to like two guys and an owner and an office manager, or it's just a handful of people, but it's direct to them. I never send. The only time I send blasts out, if you want to call it an email blast, is like, say, when I'm finishing up this webinar and I'm like, hey everybody, thanks for attending this webinar. Like, y'all know it's going to like a lot of you, anybody that signed up. So that's kind of how we do it. But the overwhelming majority, and the reason why I started video email, is because I wanted to make a better like one-to-one relationship with people. Because even before COVID, I would sit in my office all the time and only stare at the other people that I worked with, and I didn't get to see anybody unless I went to conferences, which, oh my gosh, I miss them so much. I know it sounds corny, but I miss seeing people in person. So to me, this is kind of the next best thing, is sending the video emails. But on this one particular email that I sent out, I don't know, a day or two ago, which is whatever stat I pulled, I sent email to one person. I obviously blurred out their email address because, privacy and all. I have this moving from trial to client from ClaimWizard. It's a standard email that I send. So it's set up as a template and I can modify it if I need it. I sent it to one individual. That was it. He opened it. So if I sent it to 5 people and only 3 opened, you'd only get part of the way here. So I don't know. I should have picked a better number. 6. If I sent it to 6 people and only 3 opened, it would say 50% opened kind of thing. So that's how many people I know opened the email. Then I see how many people actually watch the video, right? So one of the tricks that BombBomb kind of recommends with video is to use a whiteboard. So normally in the beginning of a video, you'll see me go like this, and it counts down to 3, 2, 1. It beeps, and then I wait for another second, and then I put the board down and I say, hey, Brian and John, what's up, right? So by putting this here, they're going to see it in the beginning. There's like a little GIF that goes in the video. So it's just not like me, because it's like, that looks like a generic video. But if I see my name, it's like, oh, they made that just for me kind of thing. So that's one trick that I do to get the videos. And I was actually playing with this. If I use my little whiteboard, I got it at the dollar store for $1. It's like something that goes inside of a locker, school locker. I'd get, people would open the videos or whatever. But as soon as I started using the whiteboard, 100% open or watch on the videos, right? And the videos, and they tell you, watch 49-second, watch 1-minute video, watch 15 seconds. So they're already knowing this is 20 seconds of my life. I got to watch this video. Like, it's not that big a deal. I don't really send videos past a minute, minute and a half, tops. It's just a communication thing. It's not, the whole novel. So I can see they got played, and then I have a click in that I can see where people click. And most times, not when you use personal one-to-one emails, but if you use something like Constant Contact or MailChimp or Aweber or My Emma or the millions others that are out there, you can see when people click. If you have 3 links, which link did they click on? What was the percentage, etc., right? I can see they clicked. I know the link in here was a link to sign up, to go sign up and put their payment information in. So this tells me everything I need to know right here. I can actually even see that the video was watched twice. Now it's weird because the stats say what, but it says 1 play out of 1 because I only sent it to one person, but they watched the video twice. And I can see they actually physically opened that email 6 times, but they clicked on the link to sign up for ClaimWizard once. So I thought that that's pretty cool. That's just something that you're going to see. So if you're sending to a prospect, you can tell if they open it or not. The one thing that I don't think you can do is if they open it, it doesn't like alert you to that. So you kind of got to go in and look at your stats every once in a while. I don't really use the mobile app, so maybe it does on that. The other two programs are very similar in their functionality. But here you can see my averages from last week. My open rate is 405% higher than it was even the week before, because I only sent one or two the week before and I sent a whole big bunch more. I had an 860% increase in the plays because now I started using my whiteboard every time. So people weren't necessarily watching the videos, but now they are. And my clicks went up 476%, which is, these numbers don't even look real, but I promise you they are. So that's kind of how we're going down with that.